G'day folks, welcome to another edition of Talking SANFL. Daniel Menzel is in the house. Menz, we are 5 rounds in. The ladder is certainly starting to take shape. Some interesting results on the weekend.
Yeah, there was some teams up the top of the ladder that just kicked away a little bit, and some teams down the bottom that wouldn't be too pleased with their performances.
We've probably got a few breakaway teams at the minute. One of them is Glenelg. They took on South Adelaide in the first game of the round. Too strong, too good. South Adelaide in a bit of a spotter bother.
They are. They're struggling. They lost to West Adelaide. They got absolutely touched up by the Crows. And now Glenelg, who did kick 6 goals in the last quarter to blow the game out with a nice breeze to come home with. Bad loss for South, but Glenelg looking super impressive.
Another one of those really strong teams at the moment is the Crows. We'd predicted, I reckon most people have predicted North Adelaide to do really, really big things, and they could still do that. There's plenty of time left. But the Crows, pretty comprehensive against the
They were, and obviously at Prospect Oval as well. They play every game away, the Crows, and to come out and dominate the game like this and win in such a fashion is a real statement to the league. And the team they have on the park at the moment is without a doubt the best team in the competition. Yep. We do know that in 4 weeks' time that could be completely different though.
West Adelaide took on Central District. This was probably always going to be the doggies game. We know that. We think that Centrals are a genuinely good side this year. It looked like it was going to blow out early, and then West Adelaide made a game of it. Yeah,
they did. They came home with a strong breeze and kicked 5 in the last to make a game of it. But an important win for the Dogs. They need to keep winning at home. They've won every game at home this year, so they've been very strong out there, and another good win. Another week, another opportunity to say, who would have thought that after 5 rounds, the reigning premiers would be 0-5.
Yep. Redlegs go down to Port Adelaide.
Yeah, this is the one. I feel like a real missed opportunity here for the Redlegs to kick to start their season, and to drop this one by 7 points. It's lonely on the bottom now, the only team without a win so far this season.
And the only team without a loss is Sturt. They just continue to keep on keeping on. That's 5 games, 5 wins. Win over your mob, the Eagles. What happened?
Yeah, they were good. They have been good at home, and they have been traditionally for a long time, Sturt. But to see them play away and play as well as they did, they kicked 12-15, so they probably could have kicked a bit straighter and ran away with a bigger victory. But they're the real deal this year, the Double Blues. All right, that's the results so far. We'll take a look at the ladder. No surprises. Sturt absolutely on top. It sort of feels like right now, if you had to make a decision, it is a 3-horse race. Yeah, I'd still have North Adelaide thereabouts. I think they're best when they got all their players in. Aaron Young's playing. They got Sam Mays back up and in some good form. I still think they are up there with those 3. But Glenelg have shown this year that they're definitely back with the addition of Darren Reeves as their new coach. Sturt's playing some great footy, and the Crows are ultra impressive as anyone. If we have a look at the rest of the ladder, then you've got some teams that are thereabouts at the moment that are just in a sort of hovering pattern at the moment. You've got South Adelaide. Port's strung a couple together, which is good to see. Yep. And as we said, Norwood's still yet to get a victory yet this season. Time now for the SANFL summary, brought to you by Rejuvenate Massage and Fitness. We'll go into our moment of the week, and we'll go back up to Sturt. Josh Hone, who's been around for so long, 150th game, kicked a very nice Josh Hone style goal. It's a nice goal. It's on the screen here, and just really lifts his team up. It's Tom Papley-like, I reckon. He celebrates well. He's that sort of player, and he's been ever reliable this season. He's kicked more than 10 goals this season, so huge goal for Josh Hone there. And let's get to the talking point of the week, which has to be the top of the bottom contrast in the ladder, really. It seems unbelievable that, I mean, this time last year, if you're saying let's have a bit of a future look up and say that Sturt would be undefeated and Norwood would be completely defeated, most punters would have backed in Norwood to do big things this year. And Sturt, who knows? A lot of people probably had them in their top 4 or top 5, but they are flying, and you're right. The difference between the Redlegs right now and the Double Blues is immense. It is. It's massive, and you chuck the Crows in there without a doubt, because the Crows at the moment are as good a team as any team in the comp, and there is a big discrepancy at the moment between the top and the bottom. And with that, we might actually get to the stat of the week, which is we're going to go to Norwood, and don't like hitting on Norwood here. They are struggling, but they've only won 1 quarter every round this season. So that is 5 quarters of footy they have won out of the 20 quarters played so far this year. It seems unbelievable. It's a unique stat. I still feel like, even from an Eagles perspective, I don't think there'd be any team that would go in thinking it's an absolute walk in the park against Norwood, because I just feel like no matter what's happening, you can't do that. No, well, they won the premiership
6 months ago. So things don't change that quickly. They're not gelling. They haven't got it right. They got a lot of the premiership players playing at the moment, but they're obviously not playing at their level. And as you said, you don't go in thinking it's an easy win because they could all click on one day and it can change pretty quickly. But they need to change it ASAP.
All right, time now for our tips and predictions. Of course, thanks to the good folks at Top Sport. Now, men's, let's start with the Eagles taking on the Dogs at Woodville Oval. Who would have thought that at this stage of the season, this is probably on paper going to be a cracking game? Could be anyone's.
It is, and Centrals have been super impressive this season. The Eagles obviously haven't got the start they wanted to for this year, but I think they'll bounce back this week. I've obviously got to pick them, but I did get 3 last week. You only got the 1 tip last week.
Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate that.
You backed against the Dogs were the only one you got last week, so yeah. I'm interested to see which way you go with the Dogs each week.
All right, so I'm going to back the Dogs this week, mainly because it's fun to back the Dogs against the Eagles, particularly here. We haven't been able to do that for a long time.
Yeah, that's
All
a
we
good
can
point.
go by his form, stats, and everything that's happened in the first 5 rounds. So, tight one. The Dogs are very much up and about. Eagles are always going to fire at the point end of the year, but I've got the Dogs.
Dogs in a tight one. Okay, so we move to the next game, which is Glenelg hosting North Adelaide, Saturday 2:10. I'm going to go with Glenelg to win this. I think they're going to win their 5th straight game, and it is the former coach, Darren Reeves, up against Jacob Surgeon, who was the assistant coach of last year. I think it's going to be an attacking game. Both these coaches, Reeves has taken the game plan that North Adelaide's effectively had to really attack and get the ball in there. I think we'll see, provided the weather, both teams kick over 90 points this week and Glenelg will win.
It'll be very, very entertaining if that happens. Purely based on the fact that it is at Glenelg, I'm going to back in the Tigers. I still feel like they've got far too much talent, the Roosters, to not at least push comfortably inside the top 5, maybe in the top 3 at some stage. But right now, the way that the Bays are up and about, I've got the Tigers at home.
The next game is at Port Lincoln, Centenary Oval, on Saturday at 2:10 between Norwood and West Adelaide. Now, we said it last week, Norwood taking on Port, that's their game to get their season started. Well, if they don't win this one, they are done. Is this the one that kicks them off?
So is this 4 weeks in a row now? We say, well, surely the Redlegs get started this week. This will be a bit of a smoking. I'm going to say the Bloods. I like what the Bloods are doing. Even early on against the Dogs, they looked absolutely gone. They still found a way to get back into the contest. Redlegs, like we've mentioned, are probably in absolutely all sorts. Completely neutral ground as well. Young team, the Bloods are like travelling there and a bit of a new experience. So I'm going to say a bit of an upset.
I'm going to go with Norwood. I think that if they're going to win one, it's got to be this week. They played well last year when they took on West Adelaide at that ground and won. So I think they're going to kick their season off this week with a win. As we move to the top of the table clash, at Wigan Oval on Saturday at 2:30, it's Sturt taking on the Crows. This is going to be a cracking game. This is how you want it. I think the Crows are the best team in the comp at the moment, and Sturt are at home, as hard an assignment as there is. I'm going to pick the Crows to win in a close one and a tight one by 10 points. Which way are you going to go?
Well, we wait and see what happens with the AFL side as well. We probably won't see Matt Crouch again. He might even get a starting spot in the AFL side. Nick Murray's out, so someone comes out of there to potentially shuffle a few things around. I just think the home factor with Sturt is just too great. There's so many sides that are so strong at home, but it's always so bloody tough to play at Sturt, and they are up and about. So I think the Double Blues, you're saying the Crows by 10, I'm saying the Double Blues by 10.
Double Blues by 10, so a close game we think there at Wigan Oval. And the last game of the round is at Alberton Oval. It's Port Adelaide taking on the Panthers. Look, Port Adelaide, a couple of really good wins the last couple of weeks. South Adelaide, they need a win. I think they will bounce back here this week. I think it'll be close, but I'm going to pick the Panthers here. Who are you going to go with at Alberton Oval?
I'm going to agree with you, Menz. I'm going to go the Panthers as well because Junior Rowley's going to be out, so it's going to be a good player that comes out of that side as well. So they'll be a little bit under strength, and the Panthers, again, they've got so much talent. They're due. They're having a bit of a rough patch, but they can turn it around quick. All right, time now for my multi. Look, form hasn't completely been on my side, particularly last week. So for 2 of the 3 went down, but that's okay. It's all about redemption in round 6. That's what we say, Menz. So I'm just going to shorten it a little bit. 3 was too many last week, so let's go with 2-leg multi.
Okay, I like the tactic.
I'm going to say that the Bays are going to be too good for the Roosters. Big home factor there for Glenelg. And the second game is going to be Port and South Adelaide. I've got South Adelaide to bounce back and win there. So 2 games, 2 wins.
a win for the Tigers and a win for the Panthers. Easy money. Responsibly done, of course.
I like it. A couple of games to tune in for there, and make sure you enjoy and get along to the footy this week.